Clapped when I entered, said you go. Love the way I smile, look bold. Raised their glass to who I seemed, but none of them asked what I dreamed. They quoted lines I used to say, but never looked beyond the play. They saw the spark, ignored the flame. Knew my name, but not my name. I stood beneath the spotlight glow, with 20 hands, yet felt alone. Surrounded by applause so wide, but not a soul who saw inside. Loneliness in a room full of praise. Everyone near but lost in haze. They loved the shine, not where it grew. They saw the mask, not what was true. I smiled through cheers I didn't trust. Felt like glitter caked in dust. Loneliness in a room full of praise. They sang my words but missed my tone. Repeated truths I never owned. I laughed on cue, I raised my glass, but every joy felt like a mask. And in the echo of their cheer, I only heard what I still fear. That love built on what I display will vanish when I walk away. Loneliness in a room full of praise. All eyes on me, but none that stayed. They knew my stories, not my soul. They touched the frame, not what it holds. I gave the light they came to see, but none of it reflected me. Loneliness in a room full of praise. It's strange how empty you can feel when everyone says you matter, but none of them ask how you are when the lights go out. Loneliness in a room full of praise, where I perform but never stayed. And now I step beyond the stage to find myself beyond the cage. I'd rather sit with silence true than shine for those who never knew I was drowning in a room full of praise. I was drowning in a room full of praise. I used to flinch when I passed by the glass that showed me eye to eye. Avoided gaze, avoided truth, afraid to face the one uncouth. I saw the cracks, I saw the flaws, counted every line and pause, measured worth in image still, forgot that beauty isn't will. But something shifted in the air, a breath, a blink, a softer stare. I didn't try to smile or pose, just met myself and simply froze. I made peace with the mirror, no longer judge, no longer fear. I saw the girl I used to scorn and loved the face that had been worn. I didn't fix, I didn't flee, I just said, you are still me. I made peace with the mirror, the shame dissolved without a fight. As I stood still in morning light, not picking at what time had changed, but honoring what had remained. The eyes that held so many storms still shone with something soft and warm. I I didn't need to add or hide. I met the truth I kept inside. I made peace with the mirror. No harsh critiques, no cold veneer, just kindness blooming in my chest. A silent, yes, a quiet rest. The war with self began to cease, reflected now in quiet peace. I made no longer felt inferior. I saw a soul that had survived, a face that softened and revived. I didn't flinch, I didn't flee. I whispered thank you for being me. I made peace with the mirror. I used to chase with broken feet, beg love to make my cracks complete. Thought healing lived in someone's hand, thought worth was something they command. I tried to earn what should be free, mistook control for loyalty. But time and stillness taught me how to give myself what I seek now. I've held the silence, kissed the ache, learned what to keep and what to break. And now this love I give away doesn't beg for it to stay. Now I love without needing to be saved. No more chains in what we gave. I offer hands, not outstretched need, a garden grown from gentler seed. I don't confuse your life for mine. I'm whole before our hearts align. Now I love without needing to be saved. I don't dissolve to fit your frame. I won't abandon my own name. And when I love, it's not a plea, it's something given joyfully. You are the sun, I am the rain. We don't complete, we just remain. And if you leave, I won't collapse. I've learned to hold myself perhaps. Now I love without needing to be saved. No rescue lines, no roles engraved. You're not my cure, I'm not your wound. We rise as equals, not too soon. I used to cling from hollow space. Now I give love from solid place. Now I love without needing to be saved. I don't love to be rescued. I love because I have arrived. And in that place, I don't need you to fix me. I only need you to walk beside me. Now I love without needing to be saved. I've walked through fire, I've misbehaved, but every scar has made me true. I show up whole and still choose you. Not to complete, not to replace, but as two souls that share a space. Now I love I smiled in every photograph, shared the story, cut the half, the part where I forgot to feel, where nothing fake could make it real. The world saw joy, the world saw light, but I was fading every night. A version crafted sweet and bright, but I was gone, out of sight. I disappeared while smiling, numb behind the styling, hollow in the crowd I led, shining loud but barely fed. I wore the joy like painted skin, but lost the voice that lived within. I disappeared while smiling. I stayed upbeat, I stayed composed, hid the ache no one supposed. They cheered me on, they said you glow, but never asked if I still grow. I laughed so they could stay at ease, I dimmed myself so they could breathe, but pieces left each time I spoke, until my core began to choke. I disappeared while smiling, disconnected, silent, violent. My soul was knocking from inside, while I kept saying it's alright. They loved the spark who missed the fall. I vanished trying to please them all. I disappeared while smiling. No one noticed I was gone, because the mask I wore smiled so well, but you can't hear. In a costume built to disappear, I disappeared while smiling, but silence caught me dialing. The voice I lost began to cry, and that's the night I ask, who am I? I'm not the light that hides the flame, I'm not the smile that feeds the shame. I disappear, but I'm coming back with my name. Whoa, 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 whoa. Something felt wrong. I knew the skin, the jaw, the eyes, but none of them answered when I tried. I called my name, just soft, just slow. It echoed back, but didn't know. The syllables that used to feel like home now sounded like someone unknown. I wore too many voices, too many masks, forgot the girl behind the tasks. I stood beneath the midnight sky and whispered, who am I? The night I couldn't name my own name was the night I knew I'd lost the flame. Not broken, just dispersed in air. A ghost of me was standing there. I mouthed the sound, but it fell flat, 'cause I didn't know who lived in that. The night I couldn't name my own name. They told me healing takes some time, but no one warned I'd lose my spine. That holding on too long to fake can make your whole reflection break. I searched in stories I once wrote, in voice notes, dreams, and vintage coats. led back to someone else's face. The night I couldn't name my own name, I felt the silence call me lame. But deeper still, beyond the fear, was something soft beginning near. Not answers, just a gentle start, a pulsing hum beneath the dark. The night I couldn't name my own name. Oh, sometimes we lose the map so we can feel the earth. Sometimes the name must vanish so the soul can speak first. The night I couldn't name my own name, I stopped pretending I was the same. And though I didn't know who I'd be, I left the door unlocked for me. No titles, roles, or frames to claim, just breath before the flame. The night I couldn't name my own name. Started with a whisper low, a sound I taught myself to throw beneath the laugh, behind the grin. The voice I caged was stirring in. I used to hush it with a task, or press it down behind a mask. But silence turned from peace to weight, and ache began to resonate. I thought ignoring made it heal, but buried pain still needs to feel. And in the quiet of that night, I heard the truth I used to fight. The hurt I hid began to speak, not with rage but something weak. A trembling word, a breath too tight, a tear that rose without a fight. It didn't scream, it didn't blame, it only softly said my name. The hurt I hid began to speak. It said, I waited all these years beneath your strength, beneath your fears, not to destroy or drag you down, but just to ask, can I be found? I didn't run, I didn't turn, I let the ache inside me burn. And in that heat I felt release, the start of something called my peace. The hurt I hid began to speak, in songs too soft and truths unique. Not shame, not guilt, not something wrong, just pieces missing from my song. I used to mute what made me deep, but now I sit and let it weep. The hurt I hid began to speak. What you bury doesn't vanish, it waits not to harm, but to be held. The hurt I hid began to speak, and though my voice was cracked and weak, it met the wound with open arms, no longer fearing all its harm. I didn't fix, I didn't flee, I just said you're safe with me. The hurt I hid has set me free. Sorry when I entered rooms, took up less space, became perfume. Lingering quiet, never loud, learned how to vanish in a crowd. I said sorry for the tears I felt, for asking anything I dealt. Believe my needs were way too much, so I stayed small, afraid to touch. I made myself a gentle ghost, gave all I had, received the most. Of silence when I needed sound, of cold when I was breaking down. I said sorry for existing, for breathing, asking, simply being. I wore apology like skin, and let the guilt seep deep within. They praise me for being low demand, but no one ever held my hand. I said sorry for existing. I swallowed joy to not offend, forgot the voice I used to send into the world with open flame, till silence overtook my name. But something cracked the still disguise, a voice within began to rise. You were never made to bend for love that asks your light to end. I said sorry for existing, but now I see what I was missing. I needed space, I needed sound, a place where I could stand my ground. I won't apologize to be the truth that finally lives in me. No more sorry for existing. You don't have to shrink to fit, you don't have to apologize for your breath. The world needs your full weight, not your shadow. I said sorry for existing, but that silence is dismissing. I hold my name with both my hands, I speak, I sing, I take my stand. I won't erase, I won't retreat, my presence now feels whole, complete. I was never meant to beg to be. You offered answers, gave me plans, spoken logic, drew out scans. Thought if you patched what hurt in me, I'd smile again and just agree. You tried to fix the way I cried, to frame the storm I held inside. But I didn't need your perfect thread, I just needed a place to rest my head. I wasn't broken, just undone, not seeking rescue, just someone who wouldn't rush to rearrange, but sit beside what wouldn't change. I didn't wanna be fixed, I wanted to be held, not analyzed or recompelled, not talk for pain. I had named, not made to feel. I should be shamed, just arms that didn't flinch or flee, just quiet space to let me be. I didn't want to be fixed, just held. You brought bright light when I needed dusk, spoke of strength when I needed trust. Sometimes healing isn't loud, It's silence wrapped in softer sound. You meant well, but love's not tools. It's knowing when to break the rules, to hold the mess, not wipe it clean, to say I'm here, not what do you mean. I didn't wanna be fixed, I wanted to be here. Not made to earn, not pushed, not shelled, not turned into a brighter form, just held steady through my storm. No checklist love, no polished script, just presence I could truly grip. I didn't want to be fixed, just held. Hold me, not to change me, but to let me remember that I'm still here. I didn't wanna be fixed, I wanted to be held. Not reshaped, not repelled, just seen for what I really am. My soul still learning how to stand, and maybe in that gentle space I'll find the strength to heal with grace. Not fixed, just finally felt. I sat with silence, long and bare. No voices left, just open air. No need to prove, no lines to say. Just breathe in dusk, the slow decay. At first it felt like I was lost, a room of stillness chilled with frost. But as I listened past the fear, a softer language did appear. No words, no rush, no urge to please, just rhythm pulsing with the trees. My soul began to hum beneath. The silence held me like a sheath. The silence taught me how to speak, not with the strong, but with the weak. Not loud with pride, but clear with truth, like ocean tides that hold the proof. My voice was not a thing to chase, but one I'd find in quiet space. The silence taught me how to speak. It didn't lecture, didn't preach, just held the words I couldn't reach. And in its hush, I heard my name, not yelled but whispered without shame. It sang of roots, it spoke in breeze, it softened all the urgencies. It taught me tears are not defeat, but sacred rain beneath my feet. The silence taught me how to speak, not to be heard, but to be meek. Not just a sound, but to be whole, aligned with breath, with voice, with soul. My truth no longer needs to roar. A quiet yes means even more. The silence taught me how to speak. Oh, in stillness I found the words I was never allowed to say. And in saying nothing, I finally spoke. The silence taught me how to speak, and what I said was soft and deep. I didn't need a stage or a crowd, just air and ground, no need for loud. My voice returned from underneath, not borrowed, born in quiet grief. The silence taught me how to speak. I walk the path I once erased. Through silent fields my shadow grazed. The doors I closed out of despair were waiting still, they left a chair. The mirror cracked now held my face, not as a wound but sacred place. The name I once forgot to claim, I speak today without the shame. I traced the map my pain had drawn, found golden roots where I was gone. And every tear I left behind became the river I would find. Where I vanished, I return with softer hands and truth I earned. I met the ghosts and let them be. They taught me how to set me free. I gathered ashes, turned to flame, and rose again, not quite the same. Where I vanished, I returned. I didn't come to prove I won, but to embrace what I'd outrun. I lit no torch, I sang no pride, just stood in light I used to hide. The silence now became my friend. The healing didn't have an end. It's not a line you cross or claim. It's loving all you once called shame. Where I vanished, I returned, not fixed but whole, in ways I earned. I carry scars like sacred ink, reminders of the edge I bringed. I'm not the same, and that's my grace. I found my breath in broken space. Where I vanished, I returned. You don't always come back stronger, but you come back true. And that truth is the light they can't take from you.